Hello and welcome to our USC Rossier Alumni Orientation. Uh, Today, we're going to be covering several different topics that includes networking, leveraging your USC network, all the tools and resources and alumni benefits that are available to you. And we'll also be showing a lot of tips about how to leverage that network and expand your network. So we'll be focusing on all those items today. And regardless if you graduated 12 days ago or 12 years ago, hopefully this information will be beneficial to you. And I'll be able to share all this information today and also share a recording and some of the information that I'll go over a little bit later. So my name is Tom Artiaga. I serve as the Director of Alumni Engagement at USC Rossier. And thank you very much for joining us today. So let's go ahead and get started with our presentation. So we have, here's a quick look at our agenda for the day. We'll be going over our networking tools, the Alumni Association, benefits, communications, events, and all the volunteer opportunities that exist. And following today's presentation, I'll share a recording as well as a copy of the slides that I'll be going over, which include links to a lot of the websites and resources that I'll be talking about today. All right. So let's talk about our alumni network, right? So here's a quick look at the USC alumni network. Over 480,000 alumni, right, all over the world, lifelong, worldwide. That is the Trojan family that you are now a part of. You see the breakdown there by graduate degrees and undergraduate degrees. So our graduate program is actually a little bit more than our undergraduate. And even thinking about today's call, we have on our registration for today's webinar, we have alumni from California, Arizona, Ohio signed up, from Los Angeles to Palm Springs, even Long Beach to Redding, California. So we have a lot of alumni, strong alumni network, even just joining us today for this webinar. Now, looking specifically for the School of Education, the Rossier alumni demographics, we have 32,000 alumni in 43 countries, 50 states. You can see a few other statistics there and a few other breakdown about where our alumni network is. But we also, looking at the registration for today's webinar, we have a lot of alumni leaders from all over as well. We have alumni who serve as vice presidents, as CEOs, principals, therapists, and professors. And those are just some of the titles that I saw on the registration for today's webinar. So we have a very strong alumni network that you are now a part of. So let's jump into our networking tools. And I'm going to go over quite a few different tools and webinar or websites that are available to you. And then I'll also demonstrate a few and kind of walk through those websites just so you can see how to really leverage these tools. So thinking about the Rossier network, right? So specifically to the School of Education, we have your alumni website where you can visit and see all the alumni events, alumni news. You can submit class notes through there. You also have access to the USC Rossier Career Network. And I'll be showing you this platform in a little bit, but this is a platform for alumni and students. Alumni have logged in and indicated how they're willing to help other people, how they can help network, what sort of, maybe they can help with resume review, or maybe they've been doing informational interviews. They indicate all of that on the site, and it's a really easy way, a really nice entry point for you to build your network and reach out to some individuals who have really said like, hey, I'm here and willing to help you. And then you also have access to the USC Rossier Career Services. So that is our career services specifically for School of Education. So you'll see all of the resources and tools that are available there. And then also on LinkedIn, and we'll be talking about LinkedIn, and I'll be demonstrating some items on LinkedIn here in just a little bit. But the LinkedIn Alumni Directory is a great way for you to be able to find alumni who've indicated on LinkedIn that they are graduates from USC Rossier. And I'll show you, there's a USC Rossier LinkedIn, and there's also the USC LinkedIn directory. And that one has a lot of alumni all over the world that you can find on there. So I'm gonna share a few of these links for these sites in the chat right now, so you can take a look. If you want to log on as we're going through this webinar today, feel free. But I just want to be able to show you some of these, share all these different tools and resources with you. Okay, so this is again Rossier specific. So School of Education, the website, the Career Network, Career Services on all the services they provide, and then also the LinkedIn directory. And I'll be going over each of those a little bit more in detail here in just a moment. Now, looking ahead here now more broadly, USC. For the USC Alumni Association, you are all part of the USC Alumni Association. You have access to USC alumni benefits, events, services, and you also have access to the benefits, services, events from the School of Education. So you have access to both of those. But on the USC side, Fight Online is the main platform that is the alumni directory for all USC alumni. That is where you would go in to request your alumni email address. And I'll be covering that a little bit more in more detail in just a moment, because I know that there's a lot of questions always about my email address, my student email address. When do I lose access to that? So I'll go over that in just a moment. But Fight Online is the platform you'll want to go through to set that up. And you can also set up all of your communication preferences. So if you'd like to hear more about athletic programming, if there's one of our affinity communities and our alumni communities that you'd like to hear more about and be added to their email list, the Fight Online platform is the space to do that. You can update your communication preferences. Or maybe you're like, hey, I'm getting too many emails about this or too much about that. You can go in there and kind of adjust your communication preferences. So that's a really nice tool to let us know, to let USC know what you'd like to learn more about, what you'd like to hear more about from us. And then there's the Trojan Network. And this is similar to the USC Rossier Career Network. It's the Trojan Network, which is the one for everyone at USC. Again, focuses on networking and mentoring. And then on the career side, so Connect SC is the platform we used to have that was kind of that career services management platform. Our USC Career Services is transitioning over to Handshake. So Handshake will now be the new platform that you go to for job postings. If you have a job you want to share, if your company is hiring, you want to connect with a career center and have them post that opportunity through Handshake. If you're in the job market yourself and you'd like to look, Handshake is going to be where you're going to want to go to look at the job postings that are available to you. And then the USC Career Center. Again, I spoke about, we have the Rossier Career Services Department, which is here to help and support you. You also have access to the USC Career Center. And they have a lot of online tools and resources that are available 24/7. So you can access, you can do online resume review. There's a lot of different platforms to help you with interview prep. There's a lot of different platforms that are available through the USC Career Center that you have access to. And then finally, I talked about the Rossier Alumni Directory. There is a USC LinkedIn Alumni Directory as well. And I'm going to go ahead and shift over to that so we can take a look at this USC LinkedIn Directory. And if you're on, hopefully all of you are on LinkedIn and utilizing LinkedIn. If you're not, that's okay. And I encourage all of you to consider setting up a LinkedIn profile just to help build your network. So I'm going to go ahead and share an example here and walk us through the LinkedIn directory. And if you're on, and I'll also add the chat, a link in the chat so you can see that as well. So shifting over to LinkedIn now, and when you go to LinkedIn, you can either go directly to the link that I'll provide in the chat, or you can also just search for University of Southern California to go to the USC page on a LinkedIn. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that. The LinkedIn chat is in the, excuse me, let me put that one in there for you so you can explore this at home as well. And the way that you can get added to the LinkedIn, the USC LinkedIn network, it's all based on the school, your education that you put on your profile on LinkedIn. So if you have USC listed as your education on your LinkedIn profile, then you'll be showing up in this directory that we'll be going through right now. So when you go to the link that I shared in the chat, this will take you to the University of Southern California LinkedIn's page. You often land here on the home page, but if you go over here to alumni, this is what I'm going to focus on. This is the alumni directory. And I'll just warn you that the mobile interface is has a different look and feel than the desktop. And I'm obviously showing you the desktop version right now. So if you're using your phone to look at this, just know it's a little bit different as far as the search. They do it more under the search settings as opposed to be able to just view it right here. So when we go to alumni, you can see the total number of alumni on LinkedIn who have indicated they are USC alumni. and you can go in here and you can search for where they work, where they live, what they do, what they're skilled at, what they studied, and then how you're connected. So this is a nice way to be able to do all of these different types of searches. What I really like about this platform is, let's say that you're an educator, or you're exploring opportunities to you'd like to look at Los Angeles Unified School District, right? You can type in Los Angeles Unified School District on the search, and now you've narrowed that down to 753 alumni. And when you scroll down, all of the alumni are down here, right? So maybe you'd like to connect with a principal or an administrator, a teacher. They're all listed down here, and it really helps you narrow your search. So if you're looking at a specific company that maybe you're considering or you'd like to get into, this is a great way to do that research. Type in the company's name in here, and it can be any company that you might be interested in looking for. And if you want to be real specific, you can also go down here to where they work, add it, and just search for the company right here. And then it'll show you the company information. So let's just Kaiser, we have over 1,600 here. And you can also then look at where they are. So if you want to get, maybe you're looking at San Francisco Bay Area. So you can get very specific, and you can also go over to what they do, right? So what they do, you can look at education. So I want to look at Kaiser Bay Area education. Now it's a smaller number of folks, but it really help you in your search, be able to identify some alumni that are in a field or an area or a company that you are very interested in. And you can just reach out to them directly on here. You can see how you might have a common connection with them. So this is a really helpful search engine for you to be able to find alumni, where they work and what they do. So the other platform I'd like to share, I'll actually just take a pause right there, and please go ahead and use the chat if there's questions, or use the Q&A. I'm seeing some chats in there. I'm going to drop the link back in there for everyone to see. Again, this is the link to the USC LinkedIn Alumni Network. So I'm dropping that back in the chat per the request in Q&A. But feel free to put any questions in there, and I'll try to get to all the questions at the end of our time today. So the other platform I wanted to talk about is our Rossier Career Network. So this is our USC Rossier Career Network, and I'll put the link in the chat for this one as well. And I'll warn you, I'm going to be putting a lot of different links in the chat today. If you don't know how to save the chat, I'll definitely be going over that a little bit later as well. But so you can make sure you save all of these links and have them available after our call today. So this is our career network. This is a group of, we've invited alumni and students to log into this platform to indicate how they would be willing to help other members of our community. And you can do very similar search that I just did for LinkedIn. You can do a search on here. Again, I went to connect, went to community, and now I'm doing a search. And it's going to now indicate these are exact matches of individuals who either worked at Los Angeles Unified School District currently, or maybe in the past. And everybody on this platform, which is a little bit different than LinkedIn, they've logged in here and they've indicated how they'd be willing to help other people, whether that helping a student or help alumni. Ways that they can help. You can see it's indicated on there. You can also see, how if you have anything in common with them as well. So this is another wonderful tool for you to be able to expand your network a little bit. And you can search for people specifically as well. I'm actually going to type in Ryan on here because Ryan, my colleague, Ryan Alcantara, our career services manager, and I'll show you a little example of his profile. So you click on someone's profile, you see what topics they'd be willing to help with. So Ryan's indicated that he'd be willing to do resume, CV, and cover letter review, or preparing for interviews. And then you can reach out to them and start a conversation. And then there's an introduction, job functions, their career background, career history, and some information about themselves that they have shared. So when you go in to set up your profile, that'll be here as well. You can click on, conversations. So you can see here that I've had some conversations with Ryan in the past. I've actually, I had indicated some goals. These are for myself of things that I was working on with Ryan. I set myself up a timeline of things that I wanted to be doing. We were working on a project, a previous webinar. I shared a file with him, so you can communicate through this platform once you've connected with alumni. You can also, reach out and schedule a call, and the platform will actually have recommended text for you pre-populated in here. You can edit that, personalize it before you reach out and send your message to somebody. So that is our two really helpful platforms as far as our LinkedIn directory, and then also our Rossier Career Network platform as well. So I'm going to jump back over to slides here for a moment, and we'll go through. So we've gone through some of these tools, some of the networking tools you can take advantage of. This is another question that I get quite often: is how do I join the USC Alumni Association? And it's really simple. It's upon graduation. Once your degree is conferred, right, and that can happen sometimes. It might be 30 days after graduation, might be sometime in the summer. Usually, it's when everything gets processed, and you then get your official, your degree is conferred. You get that sent to you in the mail, right? At that time, you are now officially a lifelong member of the USC Alumni Association. So there's nothing else you need to do at that point as far as having that membership status, but just know that it's upon graduation. Once that degree is conferred, that's when you become that lifelong member of the USC Alumni Association. Now, you might be a member of the Alumni Association, but if we have an old email address on file, or we have an old address on file, then you're not going to be getting information, any updates from USC. You're not going to be getting invitations, invites to get involved, to volunteer, to come to any of these events or programs. So that is really important, is to make sure you update your information when you with the Alumni Association. So there'll be an email that's sent from the USC Alumni Association inviting you to log in to Fight Online. Again, that's when your degree is conferred. And then once you go into Fight Online, you can make sure your information is current, update your communication preferences, and then start to explore all the different events and programs that are there for you. The Alumni Association. So again, you have access to the Alumni Association as well as the Rossier Alumni events and programs. This is a list of some of the annual events the Alumni Association hosts. I want to just make sure that all of you are felt welcome and invited. You can attend any alumni, any USC event that's posted, that's available, open to our alumni community. If you see something on the website that maybe Marshall is hosting, they're doing a networking event, and you'd like to explore that. If the event is open to USC, it's going to be on the USC alumni page, and it's more likely open to all alumni. Just make sure that that's what it says, and you can come to any of these upcoming events or programs. So that's a great way to connect with your network, and to meet new alumni from all over the programs, all over the schools and colleges from USC. Now, the USC Alumni Association also hosts several alumni communities, and these communities are really wonderful ways to expand your network as well. So we have our Black Alumni Association, our Latino Alumni Association, Asian Pacific, Lambda, the LGBTQ+. We have a women's group, a veterans group as well, and there's several others that are on the website. So if you're interested in exploring more about the affinity communities, you can explore those and see if there's one you might be interested in participating. They have mailing lists you can also join, but they host networking events. They host scholarship fundraisers throughout the year. But that's just another way to get involved if you're interested in joining some of our alumni communities. Now, looking at our benefits. So you have access to benefits and services as a member of the Alumni Association. And again, as long as you're keeping us updated with your contact information, then you'll be able to find these benefits and services. So our first benefits here, obviously on the career side, and I've talked about the career services. There's also Skill Up, which is a platform with short programs that is designed for you to be able to fine tune maybe some specific skill sets that you're interested in, whether that's managing different project management or leadership. There's a bunch of different skills and different workshops they have available on Skill Up. So that was available to you as a student. It continues to be available to you as alumni. And then the bookstore, right? So if you want to be supporting that USC gear, the alumni get a 10% discount at the bookstore. So there's information on the alumni website on how to set up that bookstore discount. And then you can also set up your digital membership card. So there's no longer a physical USC membership card, but you can download a digital membership card if you need that for any reasons or any purposes. Sometimes insurance companies actually give you a discount if you're a member of your alumni association. So reach out to your home, car, whoever provides your insurance for you. Ask them if they provide a alumni association discount. So that might be something you can take advantage of, and you might be able to just show them that digital membership card in order to get that discount. Alumni email account. Again, I'm going to go into that in more detail. And then definitely, special offers on discounts, car rentals, and theme parks. And you'll get emails from the Alumni Association about all of these different benefits that are available to you. And they're also available on the website, the USC Alumni Association website. So let's take a moment here and talk about alumni email, right? So your student email account, that's the one that ends at the usc.edu, right? That email address will be disabled typically in about 12 months after your degree is conferred. And when that's disabled, all of that is gone. You don't have access to those emails. You don't have access to the files, anything you might have been saving under that student account. So it's very important that if you want to keep all that information, you start migrating that information off of that account into a different email platform or a different email system, or just onto your own personal computer, so you have access to that moving forward. Now, so that's your student account. It will end typically about 12 months. So do not rely on that. I wouldn't encourage you to keep using it, because that'll be disabled soon. What you do have access to as alums is you have access to set up a alumni at alumni.usc.edu email address, and it's a Gmail account, but it's kind of a restricted Gmail account. It doesn't have as much of the storage capabilities that a normal Gmail account has. It's really designed more to be like an email forwarding system. So you can use this once you go into Fight Online. You can set up you register for Fight Online through that alumni portal. You go to my alumni email tab. That's where you set it up to request it. And then you access it just like a Gmail email address. But I encourage you to maybe consider setting that up as a Gmail forwarding email address. So you can use that email on your resumes or for other purposes. And then when people email you to that account, it can get forwarded to maybe the other email address that you use. Or you could use it as just your standalone email and answer and respond to that inbox, however you'd like to do that. So again, I just want to emphasize that one more time. Your student email address will be disabled typically about 12 months after your degree is conferred. And once your degree is conferred, you'll receive an email from the USC Alumni Association inviting you to log in to Fight Online. And at that point, that's when you can set up your alumni email. All right. And I'll put a little link in the chat here for you on alumni email. So you can go to that website. It'll walk you through all the information about the alumni email and your student email. So again, just make sure anything in your student email, your student Gmail account, you are able to migrate that out of that platform, since you'll be losing access to that after about 12 months. Now, talked about the networking tools, showed you some of those, talked about the benefits that are available to you. And now let's talk a little bit about the communications that you'll be receiving as alumni. So we have specifically for Rossier alumni. So we have a monthly alumni newsletter that's sent out that showcases a lot of our events and programs that are coming up. So that's a nice way for you to stay in touch with Rossier. But we also have a Rossier newsletter. So there's alumni newsletter and a Rossier newsletter from the dean. So you'll start getting that as well, with updates from the dean, updates on faculty. And then student newsletter. For anyone who's current student or might be You might, hopefully you were receiving that. This student version of our newsletter this past year typically came from me. It again, promoted our events and programs that our students were invited to participate and take part in. And then social media, right? We all have our different social media platforms. So that is another great way to stay involved and listen and connected to see what's going on. We also produce Rossier magazine, so that'll be printed, and once a year, the Rossier magazine has all the updates and news about the school. We also collect class notes. The class note is an update that you share, alumni share with us about. Could be a job promotion, it could be a life event, right? Family, marriage, kids, exciting family events like that, life events. Any type of awards, any professional accomplishments that you'd like to share with your Rossier community. We always request alumni to submit those class notes to us, and then we publish those in the magazine and also on our website. And then the alumni website, we talked about that as well, where you can find out upcoming events. A lot of the tools and resources I've talked about are available there. So those are the Rossier communications touch points. You also will be getting emails from the USC Alumni Association. You'll be getting the USC magazine as well. So you'll see again, there's information you're getting that's USC, and you'll be getting information that's USC Rossier specific as well. Now, one of the best way to build your network is to attend alumni events. This is always a great way for you to meet new people, connect with individuals that you might not have had an opportunity to connect with while you were a student. And I always say that every single alumni event is a networking event, right? Regardless of what you're doing. You might be coming to campus to hear a speaker, and that you might be sitting next to somebody, strike up a conversation, and then connect with them on LinkedIn. So every single event you attend is a networking event, and always think about that. Like, who can I connect with? Who could I like to meet at this event? And you have access again to the Rossier alumni programs. So we do several lecture series throughout the year. We have happy hours for our alumni. Again, more of the social networking events, master class, and then we have our webinar series, our Rossier leadership series. Homecoming is always a great event. Over 300 people attend homecoming. Very family friendly, great way to experience that USC football tailgate and then experience the football game. And then we also go to several professional conferences, including NASPA, where we'll have different receptions. And I always like to invite our alumni to come back for student and alumni networking events to really help our current students build their professional network as well. And then the Alumni Association, you will also be invited to the Alumni Weekend. There's an Alumni Leadership Conference, the Volunteer Recognition Dinner. Women's Conference is a really popular event. The Day of Service. So if you're interested in doing community service, and the Day of Service is a great opportunity if you want to host a service opportunity in your area. That's a great way for you to get involved and volunteer. And again, even a service project is a great networking event. Every event is a networking event. Trojan Travels, a travel program that you're able to travel with USC alumni to various parts of the world. So that's a fun travel program as well. And I'll put in the chat, just before I move on from this one, I'll put a link to both our alumni events and then so this is the USC events and the Rossier events page. So I'm going to go ahead and drop those in the chat right now. So that is our Rossier events, and then I'll grab the USC events page, and I'll drop that in there in just a moment as well. So talking about volunteer opportunities, this is another great way to get involved. There are a lot of different volunteer opportunities that are available to you. You can get involved through Rossier, and I'll be talking about our ambassador program in just a moment. But you can also get involved through the USC Alumni Association. They have several volunteer opportunities as well. And I'll put links to both of these programs as well. So as the Alumni Ambassador Program through Rossier, which I'll touch on right now. The link is in the chat. And then also the USC Alumni Association has a list of volunteer opportunities as well. But the USC Rossier Alumni Ambassador Program is a wonderful program. I get to work with our ambassadors. I actually have a meeting with them next week as we are looking to plan ahead for next year, some of the events and programs that we'll be doing. we ask our ambassadors to just be that outreach for us, help us spread the word, help let people know about the opportunities, events, and programs that are happening. We might be invite our ambassadors to serve on host committees for us, or attend a college fair and represent us in different parts of the country. And also they attend events and help us with our fundraising on our day of support, right? Our ambassadors were really instrumental last year in helping us achieve a new record for Rossier last year with our fundraising efforts on our day of support. So that was really exciting. We look forward to having their help again and support this coming year. And then speaking with students, mentoring students, we kind of invite our ambassadors to do that. Now, with our alumni ambassador program, I don't ask our ambassadors to do all of these things. We kind of take a look at this menu and say, what are you interested in? What would you like to do? And that's kind of how we move forward. And I just make sure our ambassadors are informed of what's going on so they can spread these opportunities to their network as well. So there's a link in the chat about signing up for the ambassador program. If you're interested, please feel free to sign up, or feel free to reach out to me if you have questions about that and you'd like to get a little bit more involved in staying involved and staying connected. It's a great way to volunteer. So questions, I'm going to go ahead and I know I have a few questions that were submitted through the registration process, so I'd love to answer a few of those questions right now. And before I start answering questions, though, I also want to make sure that everyone sees all the ways to save the chat. I'm going to go ahead and put my contact information in the chat as well, so you have it. So there's my information is in there. My LinkedIn is in there as well. Please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. Now, the best way to save the chat is probably to click on the three buttons down at the bottom of the chat window. Again, if you're on a desktop, I'm going to talk through this as a desktop. When you open up the chat window, you can, it says, who you're chatting to everybody. And then you can attach like a file, or you can make an emoji. And then there's also three little buttons that's, when you hover over that, it says more. When you click on that three buttons that says more, the first thing that pops says save the chat. You should be able to save the chat, and then that saves it onto a Zoom folder on your computer. So that's available. But again, I'll be sharing this slide presentation with all the links that I've talked about on here as well. So you should have that in just a minute. So let me get to a few of the questions, though, that were brought up during the registration. So let's see. And so one of the first questions that I had during the registration was just really kind of like, how do I stay connected, right? And I think the most important thing you can do is update your contact information. If we don't have your email address, if we don't have an address for you, then we do not know how to keep you updated on what's going on and sharing all these opportunities. There are so many events, so many programs that are offered by USC. And if we don't have your correct address, if you move to another state, if you move to another part of California, we're going to send invitations based on where people are living, right? We're not going to invite people in Arizona to an event in the Bay Area, right? So if we don't have the right address for you, then you might not be getting invited to the events and programs that are happening in your area. The other nice way to stay connected is really just to follow USC on social media, whatever social media platform you prefer or whichever one you utilize. Make sure you're following USC on social. It's a great way to stay informed and up to date on what's going on. So I have one other question from registration, but I also want to answer one question that I had in the chat as well. It says, I was a part of the ambassadors. Can I still participate to that? So yes, there were different ambassador programs. There was a student ambassador program run through our admissions program, and we'd love to invite our student ambassadors to participate in our alumni ambassador program. And then I think many years ago, there might have been another different type of volunteer opportunities. So all alumni are welcome. That's the one thing we really love about our ambassador program, is we keep it wide open to any of our Rossier alumni who want to volunteer. This is the great opportunity through the alumni ambassador program to participate. So we love having as many folks take part and join us and helping us. Another question I had from the registration process was how to maximize my status as an alumna. All right, I think this is a really good question. I think there's a few things you can do. First one is update your LinkedIn profile. Make sure that you have added USC to your education on your LinkedIn profile. By doing that, you are then added into the LinkedIn alumni directory, and other people will be able to find you. But that's just a great way to let folks know that you are a part of the Trojan family. Another thing is to go through that LinkedIn alumni directory. You might start finding contacts of individuals you know, or maybe you're connected by just a second connection or something like that that maybe you didn't realize were part of the Trojan family as well. So that, like, start building up your alumni connections on LinkedIn with that LinkedIn directory that we talked about. The second way to really maximize your status is attend events. Great way to expand your network. It's come to an event or program, USC events or programs. We offer in-person programs. We also offer a lot of online programs. Our webinar today, right? All online. We have an online alumni mixer coming up in June. So alumni for out of the area, we have an online virtual summer alumni happy hour mixer online. So that way you can connect with individuals. And then we also will be doing at the end of June an in-person alumni happy hour at the lab, which is right off of campus. So in person and online, we have some great networking events coming up to help kick off the summer and are really geared towards helping welcome the class of 2024 into our Trojan family. Another way to maximize, as we just talked about, is volunteer, exploring the volunteer opportunities through Rossier and through the USC Alumni Association. And I think a real simple way to do it is just make sure you're sporting your USC gear, right? And use that 10% discount for alumni at the bookstore. And then when you're walking around and you see somebody with their USC gear, make sure you give them the victory and give them the fight on. So you can make sure you say hello to your fellow Trojans as you're connecting with them. So that's all of the information that I had put together for today. What I would love to invite you to do is feel free to reach out to me. My information is in the chat. I'm happy to meet with individuals one-on-one. We could connect in person. We could connect online. If there's questions or you'd like to dive into something a little bit further, that is what I'm here for. I'm a resource to support our alumni. Please feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to connect with anyone that has questions via email, Zoom, in person, whatever that might be. So please feel free to reach out. But congratulations to all of our recent grads that are on joining us today. And thank you for joining us. Thank you to all of our alumni who are with us as well. And if there's any other questions or anything that might come up, please feel free to reach out. So until then, please remember, fight on.